3 against the Braves in 15, averaging nearly 7 runs a game. Tanner Roark is on the mound in Game 1, looking to get the Nats pointed toward a strong finish. The Atlanta Braves are the third different team the Nats will play over the last 3 days. Little one-game series with Cincinnati in between. So the second last road series of the year brings us to Turner Field. Bob and FP, after a crazy weekend and a bit of a crazy Monday, we thought we might have a little history with Scherzer yesterday. Here we are in Atlanta. Bryce Harper is back in the lineup, and it's kind of cool to look back now. Tanner Roark, by the way, pitching tonight. But look back a little bit on what some of the guys have been doing lately, striking guys out and pitching really, really well.
Yeah, we've had some good pitching performances to lean on lately. Steven Strasburg, Max Scherzer getting the job done. Steven Strasburg, dating back to June, has been one of the most dominant, if not the most dominant pitcher in all of baseball. 103 strikeouts, just 11 walks. Fastball 97 to 99 miles an hour. Command's been off the charts. A 13K performance his last time out. Just kind of picking up where it left off. And Max Scherzer saying, I'm going to try to top that thing you just did, Steven Strasburg. Flirted with a no-hitter through 7 1/3 yesterday. Was absolutely fantastic with his fastball command. His slider, the changeup, the best I've ever seen it all year. So some ice on his arm after the 10K performance.
Yeah, don't panic. Nothing wrong with Max's shoulder. Just trying to keep that thing cold after a hot performance. So the Nats starters, to be quite honest about it, 15 has been disappointing. They were supposed to be pretty much number one across the board in the National League and in all of baseball. Hasn't worked out that way. So Tanner Roark gets the ball tonight, and I guess the last time he pitched here in September, he had a blast.
Yeah, it was pretty good. There was some champagne being thrown around. Tanner Roark, probably the best outing of his life last time, so he's got good vibes in this ballpark for sure.
So Tanner warming up here, getting ready for this season versus last season. It's been just a mixed bag for him because he got all the starts last year. He won 15 ball games. He was a revelation for the Nats. It's tough to make the adjustment he's made this year.
Had a routine last year, didn't have a routine this year. He's been the jack of all trades, had a tough season statistic-wise, but his fastball velocity is up, which I think might be a bad thing. He was more movement on his fastball at 91, 93. We'll see what he does against the Braves here tonight. He's got a good vibe in this yard.
And speaking of good vibes against anybody, how about Bryce Harper against the Atlanta Braves? 15 games this year. 426. He's hit 6 homers, driven in 15, scoring 21 runs. So the homers keep on coming from Bryce. Yeah, we're going to go all the way up to a half dozen. Every part of the ballpark against Atlanta pitching. Let's see what he can do in a place that used to be called the launching pad. PNC Bank. For the achiever in you. Center Field Plaza at Turner Field. Going to have an intimate gathering for game one of this three-game series tonight. Braves are averaging 25,000 a game. That's third from the bottom in the National League. But let's talk about a storyline from April 28th. The amazing Ugla homer off Jason Grilli. We thought it was going to be the turning point of the season. That being for a while, it appeared it was.
Well, that was the whole man up thing, air quotes. And Dan Ugla kind of walked the talk that night. Turned the season around for a minute. And the Nats have had some serious ownage on the Braves. You see all the taters they're hitting. Worth, Harper, Rendon homered September 6th in the four-game sweep. They scored 36 runs and hit 343. Their average against the Bravos this year, or their record, against the Bravos this year, 13-3. So serious ownage against the Braves, and they're trying to continue that here tonight.
Plus 54 on the runs, 108 to 54. The wins, obviously, the batting average, the home runs, everything. And the Braves have really suffered in their bullpen this year. They just don't have the arms here they used to. So 3-3 here, 10-0 at Nationals Park. And Bryce Harper now getting ready for the ball game. And this is the set of numbers we're going to keep an eye on. D. Gordon of Miami just 4 points behind Bryce for the batting championship. And Nolan Arenado hit a couple of home runs last week to get things tied. Matt Dendecker, how about this guy's last couple of games? 7 for his last 8. 2 homers, 3 RBIs, 5 runs in 2 games. He's raised his batting average about 50 points in the last week. And he's in there tonight. Why shouldn't he be in the number 7 spot? Nats at Braves right now. Long way to see Bryce. Happy birthday, young guy. And a baseball in hand. Bryce Harper hopefully ready to do some damage here for the Nats against the Braves. It rained here all night last night and about half of the day, but it's delightful right now. 74, mostly cloudy skies. So here come the Nats. Wilson Ramos, couple of home runs, a double. He's driven in 3 over his last 5 ball games. He's 1 home run away from tying his career high of 16 just a couple of years ago. But some hot bats in the lineup. Rendon is hot. Of course, Bryce Harper. Jason Worth holding his own these days. Ian Desmond 5 out of his last 6. And then, of course, Dendecker raking the ball all over the place. And having a birthday about 17 days ago since we last saw him. Matt Whistler, the rookie, now 23.
18th start of the year for Whistler. 1-2 against the Nats with a 7.62 ERA. He's allowed 14 earned runs, 5 homers, and a 278 average against in the first inning this year. So you got to get on him fast. 6-2 win last start against the New York Mets through 98 pitches. Fastball, slider, curveball change, the arsenal for Matt Whistler. Set the defense for the Braves. Garcia, Bourne, Markakis, the outfield. Simmons, Oliveira, left side. Castro, Freeman, right side. And A.J. Przinsky behind the plate. Simmons involved in 123 double plays this year, and the Braves defense leads the majors with 176 double plays turned.
And that means they've had a lot of guys on base, but they have a defense that can take care of that. So here's Matt Whistler, 1-2 with a 7.62 ERA against the Nats. First pitch on time at 7:10 inside. We're underway. Rendon 0 for 1 with a walk against Matt Whistler. Shortstop really playing him to pull. So a ton of room up the middle, right past the right arm of the pitcher. We'll set the umpiring crew for you in a moment. Young guy behind the plate, but the others have all the experience you could want. And Rendon drills a base hit to left. So Anthony now, over his last 35 ball games with that hit, batting up around .320.
Well, there goes the no-hitter. Anthony Rendon with that squint after he makes contact, the one that we've all grown to love, and the swing that we've all grown to love too. Just a bullet to left center to start this game up. Nice swing.
Trey Turner in the number 2 spot tonight. And he's going to play second base. Rendon over at third, Escobar out of the lineup. So Trey is a big league hitter, 5 for 21 in 22 games. Not a bad spot for a rookie hitting in front of a probable MVP. Should see some pitches to hit, and there goes one right up the middle. Rendon pulls into second. The Nats are 2 for 2.
Good swing by Trey Turner. This one's starting out nice for the Nationals, right back up the middle. And I mean, just watch him get out of the box. It's like 5 steps down to the first baseline before that ball even got to second. So some speed on the bases for Bryce Harper.
Rookie hitting .273.
That A behind home plate that used to be there isn't there anymore. The one that Bryce Harper walked across in the dirt last year.
Oh yeah, the one they used to stencil into the dirt.
Look at A.
Atlanta's favorite opposing player stepping in. I'd boo him too if he was hitting .426 against my team. Straight back it goes. Bryce first pitch hunting. Twilight time here in Atlanta. We talked about this before. They have an unusual light configuration here. There are no light towers in the outfield. And so it gives the outfielders a bit of a different look sometimes than a usual ballpark. .94 diving away. No balls, 2 strikes. Mike Malinsky, the junior member of the crew, has the plate. Mark Wegner, 18 years. Sam Holbrook, 18 years. 20-year veteran Marty Froster, the crew chief, over at third. Harper hitting .390 in September. 2 days to go. Good job of spotting that breaking ball. Inside some numbers with STG. A year of numbers for Bryce. So among hitters who've had great success in a single season against Atlanta, he's right up there with the great Stargell. Jason Thompson had their number. Carlos Beltran, nothing unusual about that. And Kevin Mitchell, who could really hack. Harper looking for hit number 170. Low again.
Well, I mean, it's the storyline for the remainder of the season on this road trip is Bryce Harper winning a batting title, Bryce Harper winning a home run title, and Bryce Harper winning the MVP. I mean, that's all we really have left. And when I say all we really have left, it's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, when's the last time somebody's won the batting title in the home run race? Miguel Cabrera. Pretty good hitter.
2-2 now. It was 0-2. Harper high in the air to left. And a long run for Nick Swisher. And he'll grab it near the line for the first out.
Pass list only game, folks. If you're on the pass list, they let you into the ballpark.
Yeah.
Not a lot of fans here tonight. I think you could count the attendance, let alone guess it.
Yeah, Braves, Phillies, and Marlins were eliminated weeks ago. Miami 20 back, Atlanta 27, and Philadelphia 30 games behind the Mets. There's Jason Worth. At home, the Braves are a respectable 37 and 38, but they are 31 games under 500 on the road this year. So 32 under overall. They've lost 3 straight. Worth 1 for 3 career against Whistler.
Yeah, once again, Whistler, a guy you have to get early. 14 earned runs, 5 homers in the first inning this year. Nat's trying to do that right here, right now.
Last 39 games, Worth 9 home runs, 24 batted in. What does he get on 2-0? He gets a fastball, but it's outside.
Well, he likes to hit in this count, and he's been successful in this count throughout his career. And it's not like Whistler's missing by much. This is a definite green light situation for Jason Worth.
They give him left center. Freddie Freeman way off the line, right side of the infield. And that one kind of running into the inside edge. 3-1. Big rip. Jason, he knew he had something to drive right there. 3-2.
Just got a little deep on him. Tried to go big fly in a 3-1 count. Definitely wants that one back. That's the one he's been hunting the whole at bat. Got another one.
Potent left-handed bat on deck, and Clint Robinson, who has 2 hits and 3 RBIs this year against Matt Whistler. Worth getting some serious cuts here. Just can't get over the top of any of these.
The last 3 pitches, I think, have been the same exact spot. Look at, they're just covering each other. All right there, right down the middle. 94 miles an hour, and Jason Worth going to get another crack at it. You usually don't get 3 or 4 cracks at the same pitch. We'll see what Whistler does here again. 3-2. Reload. Oh, with the slider.
Good job of spoiling that low and away.
Some lucky seat caught that foul ball. Oh, fans, they're still fighting over it. All right. It could be one of those nights. Whoever's in the best shape gets a foul ball.
Or more. Nats on the road, 34 and 41. They're 11 over against the East. And another 3-2 pitch. This one playable high up in the air right side. Freddie Freeman under it. Infield fly has been called. Fair ball, 2 outs. First inning now up to Clint Robinson. Had a base hit and 4 trips against the Reds yesterday. He had a 2-hit and a walk series against the Phillies. And as mentioned, some damage against Whistler. 2 for 5 this year with 3 runs batted in attached. You can look at the center fielder and figure out how they want to pitch Clint. Michael Bourne is way over toward the left center gap. 87 low. I mean, that is a huge. This is a ballpark with big gaps to begin with, but when you see where Bourne and Markakis are, that's 2 runs if he plugs that easily.
Well, the Nats had their rookie dress up last night, and Clint Robinson won. He was Ricky Bobby from Talladega Nights in his Wonder Bread NASCAR uni, and it was a classic.
And this ball will get out of play.
I mean, usually with your rookie dress-up thing, you wear it, you have fun, you're glad that you're a part of the ball club. This is one you keep. His outfit last night you keep and you wear it to every Halloween party you ever go to the rest of your life, and you might even just wear it out on a Friday night. It was that good.
Well, shall I say he was the most tastefully dressed of everybody involved in the rookie hazing, if you will, last night.
The rest, it's a family show. We'll leave it up to your imagination.
Yeah, it was 1 ball, 1 strike. Here we go. Up and away, ball 2. But at least they didn't have to walk through Penn Station in New York like some of the rookies had to, 3 years ago?
Yeah.
That was crazy.
That's Smurfs. That was the best one I've ever seen. Ever.
It's still hard to look at Wilson Ramos and not think Papa Smurf.
Although the Olympic gymnast team the following year walking through the same Penn Station was a little bit disturbing.
New Yorkers were like, what's the big deal? Curveball, it comes back 2-2.
Started it off the plate away, broke it right on the corner.
Rendon at second, Turner at first. They've been there since no outs. And now Clint Robinson trying to pick up a 2-out RBI hit. He'll get jammed and pop it up to the left side. And over by the on-deck circle, A.J. Pierzynski takes care of that. A lot of traffic over there. And he greets Ian Desmond, who was on deck. How you doing? Having a good year will lead things off for them. They're 9th in the league in hitting. They've scored the fewest runs and have hit the fewest home runs in Major League Baseball. 176 hits, though, for Nick. He's on a 7-game hitting streak, and his on-base percentage is .372. Tanner Roark gets the assignment tonight. 3-0 career against the Braves.
Yeah, 5-4 losses last start against the O's on the 24th. Went 5 innings, gave up 3 runs on 5 hits, struck out 2, walked 1 through 82 pitches. So fastball, slider, curveball change the arsenal for Tanner Roark. Opponent's hitting .288 against the Nats right-hander.
Markakis also 5th in the league in doubles with 37. 1 for 7 career against Tanner, and Roark misses up and away.
Could be first in the league in beards. That's a pretty healthy one, don't you think? That's a full season job.
Well, we'll see which beard wins this matchup.
Tanner grew his back in like a week. That's a 6-monther for Markakis. That one's a lifer.
To the right side. A drop. Turner throws it to the bag, and Clint Robinson got back there. Tanner Roark also there if needed. 1 out.
Set the defense for the Nats behind Tanner Roark. Matt Dendecker on fire gets the start again in left. Bryce in center. Jason in right. Ian Desmond. Anthony Rendon left side. Trey Turner, Clint Robinson the right side. And Wilson Ramos behind the plate.
Second baseman Daniel Castro is next. "22-year-old from Mexico who signed with the Braves at the age of 16 back in '09. Played a couple of years in the Mexican League in 12 and 13. Got the upper part of the zone with that run back fastball. You might notice our center field camera position here a little bit lower than it is in some ballparks, so the guys don't look like they're throwing uphill here. Pretty much level with the hitter, and he serves that one to the right side. Trey Turner takes care of that one as well.
I just thought the cameraman was way shorter. Thanks for pointing that out.
Yeah. It'll be Freddie Freeman. Guy's working hard out there for us tonight.
It's 4:57, I'm guessing, to where he's doing his work.
Then we switch to high first, and now we go to tight center. Boy, direct. It's so easy. We just ask for a shot, and there it is. Freddie Freeman.
There's camera.
High home. Low first. Freddie Freeman putting up some pretty impressive numbers, having played only 113 games this year. So he's missed the equivalent of a month and a half, and he still hit 18 home runs. Against Roark, 9 for 19. He's a net killer, 450. So highest batting average from any hitter against any team. Worth another look. Yeah, look what D. Gordon does to the Mets. Good thing the Marlins aren't playing them right now with the batting race. And that's it. Tanner Roark gets Freeman. 1-2-3 first inning in Atlanta. It'll be Desmond, Dendecker, and Ramos coming up, moving that ball away beautifully from a great hitter.
over as Nationals manager last year, he said that one of his philosophies that he really wanted the Nats to buy into was being aggressive on the base pass, and we saw that in full force last season. The Nationals ranked 4th in the major leagues in terms of going 1st to 3rd on a single, and they were 12th in the majors in stolen bases, but this year we haven't seen nearly that same aggression. The Nats are 22nd in the league going 1st to 3rd on a single, and 27th when it comes to stolen bases. Now, obviously, injuries played a part in that this year. Span, Rendon, guys have been banged up, and Bryce Harper's relied a lot more on power than speed this year, but we haven't quite seen the run till they tag you offense in 2015 the way that we did last year in 2014.
Yeah, and really before that as well. Thanks, Dan, with our Coons.com sideline report. Ian Desmond hits one a mile to center and off the very top of the wall, right near the yellow line. There's another wall behind there, a few feet where the seats start, and Ian Desmond hit a ball that would be a home run just about anywhere else.
Yeah, I thought that was home run number 20 for Ian Desmond. Let's check it out one more time. Looked like a hanging slider right down the middle, little cement mixer to it, and Ian Desmond gave it a long ride, and where did it hit? Top of the fence? Yeah, right on that yellow line. So a leadoff double here in the second for the Nats. Now the hot Matt Dendecker going to try to at least get Ian Desmond to third.
So Matt will be looking for something to pull here. Ramos on deck. The Nats have 3 hits, so they're 3 for 7, and they've had their leadoff man on twice. Dendecker 7 for his last 8. Double homer double yesterday, and then 4 for 4 the day before with a home run, 2 singles, a double. He gets jammed, and the pitcher will be called off by Freddie Freeman.
Wilson Ramos yesterday with his 15th Tater of the year. A Buffalo homer the other way. It's a loud crack of the bat, wasn't it? And like a lot of Wilson's home runs this year, just gets out in the first row. But hey, doesn't matter if it's the upper deck first row, they all count the same. And number 15 for Wilson Ramos.
Yeah, right on that green strip above the scoreboard, bounced into the seats the way it's supposed to when it hits out there. And he does have a career high in RBIs now with 67. He'll drive it the other way. Ball well hit. Markakis back. And then tagging is Desmond and going to third. It'll be up to Tanner Roark. Or maybe a breaking ball in the dirt by Whistler to get the Nats on the board here. Tanner has 5 hits on the year, 1 career RBI.
He can hit.
You had to use that at least once tonight since Brian McCann's not here anymore.
You're right.
Another guy who used to wear out the Nats. Pretty good rip on a pitch away. Breaking ball, got him. Dropped a hammer on the opposing pitcher. Nats get another hit. They've stranded 3. They go 3 for 9 first time around the order. City College the 16th of September last year. Tanner Roark nailing things down for the Nats. 7 innings, no runs, 5 hits, no walks, 4 strikeouts, and champagne.
There is no wrong pipe.
Not that night.
Kevin Franzen got called up to the Giants. Did you hear that?
Yeah, in the lineup.
He's in the lineup tonight. He's been in the lineup playing first base. His AAA season was over. He was with Sacramento, their AAA affiliate, and he got called up at the beach. He had to go home and get his baseball stuff, get on a plane, and meet him in San Diego. How about that?
That's crazy. Good for him. 11 started this year for Tanner Roark. 39th appearance overall. AJ Pierzynski for the Braves. Doing quite a job for them at the age of 38. Hitting .294 on a 6-game hitting streak.
38 is the new 28.
Evidently. Their young catcher, supposedly the guy of the future, Christian Bethancourt, only hitting .203 in 47 games and has spent part of the year in the minor leagues. A 1 pitch. They'll just guide one out to left center, and AJ now has a 7-game hitting streak, 8 for his last 20.
Swung in it to left and turned to his dugout and said something running down the first baseline. I have no idea what it was. Something.
Nick Swisher had both knees scoped in 2014. Still recovering when the season started. Hit only a .198 for the Indians. In 30 ball games, came over here in a deal. 213 for the Braves. Could be a 3-6-1. Roark over to cover. Robinson, Desmond, and the pitcher turn it perfectly.
A good feed by Clint Robinson. You see AJ Pierzynski. Did you see the route he just took? I mean, he was 2 steps on the grass trying to get in the way of that throw. He figured it was a double play anyway, so might as well try. Got a nice turn.
Yeah, things can happen quickly on those plays when you have a left-handed throwing first baseman. And Clint Robinson got rid of that thing in a hurry.
Well, getting back to the Braves leading the big leagues with 176 of those, 176 double plays. This is one of the faster infields in all of baseball. So if you got guys that can catch a ball and got a few ground ball pitchers, that's going to happen. This infield is so fast. Citizens Bank very fast too, but this one, if you ask the players, as quick as anyone in the bigs. So plenty of time to turn double plays. Ball gets on you quick.
Oliveira at 261. Hector 5 for his last 9. 30 years of age from Havana.
It's a big elbow guard, isn't it? Don't they have rules now against the size of those things?
I mean, that's more than an elbow there.
The Barry Bonds, Mo Vaughn, Craig Biggio wearing a shin guard on your arm rule.
Yeah, way up under his uniform sleeve.
What do you got on Julio Franco right there too?
That ball had a funny sound right off the end of the bat. Trey Turner on the pop-up, and Tanner Roark facing 6 batters in 2 innings. Rendon's 1 for 1. So's Turner right behind him.
Good-looking family came down to watch the 3-game sets. You can watch the Nats this winter, December 12th and 13th, Walter E. Washington Convention Center. Meet and take photos with Bob Carpenter. You can test your skills as a broadcaster, and you can take pictures with Santa Bob and more. Call 202-675-NATS.
Sit on his lap, not mine.
Nationals.com/Nats Winterfest, or, as we like to call it, Bob Carpenter Fest.
Trying to think of a tagline for that. Something about rules and regulations do apply.
Oh, we'll be in the hashtag Nats Couch Cam, taking pictures with fans, hopefully.
Anthony Rendon, line drive to left center, first time up. 0-2. Matt Whistler, 30 pitches, 21 strikes, first 2 innings. Anthony's batting average up to 276. Yeah, they jammed him on the 0-2 pitch, right to Hector Olivera. Well, we call it our next 5, but in this case, it's our last 5. Tomorrow night here in Atlanta, Jordan Zimmerman goes against Williams Perez. Thursday night, Steven Strasburg pitching amazing baseball. Try to win his 11th against the Braves and young Ryan Weber. Then it's on to New York for 3.
And Tropical Storm Joaquin.
Yeah, we are hearing that Friday's game is in question right now.
We'll see. We'll see. Sometimes those things change.
He could change directions and head the other way.
Yeah, you never know where Joaquin's going to go.
You never know.
You never know.
Trey Turner. That, of course, is our tribute to the late Joaquin Andujar, who just passed away weeks ago.
Yep.
Who once said there's one word to describe baseball.
You never know.
You never know. Front door slider for a strike. Turner, single on the ground, hard hit up the middle first time. So Trey has 6 big league hits. To Hopper shortstop Andrelton Simmons, who's made 7 errors all year. And by the way, if you think nothing's at stake for the weekend, you're wrong, because the Mets and the Dodgers are 2 wins apart for who gets home field advantage when they play each other. Because obviously St. Louis is going to play the wild card team. Dodgers and Mets will be the other series, and you don't want to open on the road. So right now the Mets 89 wins, the Dodgers 87.
Dodgers are scuffling a little bit.
They've lost 4 straight, while the Giants have won 3 in a row. Harper fly ball left field line first time, and that breaking ball skips in. Ball 1. And that slow breaking ball got Bryce. Wearing that guard on his right leg, shin area.
Go STG inside the numbers on Bryce Harper. 22 years or younger. So look at that first. Lead the National League in batting average and home runs. Last to lead National League in average, Hank Aaron, 1956. Johnny Bench in homers, 1970. Last to lead both, Ty Cobb, 1909. How about that?
Yeah, what did we say? Ty hit 9 homers that year. Different era with the dead ball. But hey, if you've done something more than anybody else in baseball does it that year, that's pretty amazing.
Well, they didn't have fences, so it was run till they tag you on a ground ball that went in the gap.
2 balls, 1 strike. Harper takes ball 3. Bryce 0 for 3 career against Whistler, but 3 walks.
What if they didn't have fences? How many home runs would Bryce have? Because he hits them far.
Yeah.
Or fans in the outfield, just open plains. I feel like he'd still have 41.
Well, here's a number for you, 124. Bryce Harper's number of walks. That's a new franchise record for the Nats. Breaking Kenny Singleton's 123 for the 73 Expos. So 42 years on that record.
Sorry, Kenny.
Yep.
Where are the Yankees tonight? He's probably on TV, huh? Yeah, they're playing the Red Sox in the second inning. And he does it even though his record has just been broken.
Front door breaking ball. A strike to Jason Worth, who fouled off almost a handful of pitches on 3 and 2, and then popped up on the 9th pitch of his at bat. Got about 3 fastballs in that AB that he thought he should have driven somewhere. Fought off a nasty breaking ball. Boy, that thing must have had a lot of break at the end. Jason hit it right off the end of the barrel and kind of awkwardly came out of the box. Tex Masson's word of the day: bold. 29292. A chance to win an autographed Nats prize pack. Bold to 29292. It's brought to you by Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield. Live fearless. Be bold. Target well outside.
Jason having trouble in that batter's box tonight. He's lost his balance a few times in the middle of his swing. I don't know if the footing's bad or he's just kind of off on his timing.
It's been raining off and on in Atlanta for about the last 4 days. All night last night. Lays off that breaking ball and the count's 2-2. Speaking of weather, St. Louis at Pittsburgh postponed tonight, as were the Blue Jays at Baltimore.
Boy, looking at a radar, you'd think every game on the East Coast was canceled. Rain everywhere.
And Worth saw that breaking ball coming back in. This looks like a Dancing with the Stars at bat he's got going here.
It's a self-defense swing. He thought it was going to break, and it didn't, so he's hanging in there tough. He thought that slider was going to slide and stayed up. And once again, another prolonged at-bat for Jason Worth against Matt Wisler.
To the right side for Daniel Castro. 3 ground balls around the Harper walk. The Nats gone in the top of the third. Tanner Roark pitching well. No score early. Tanner Roark, Andrelton Simmons has been an interesting matchup. We'll give you the numbers after the at-bat. Third inning underway for Tanner outside. 21 pitches, 14 strikes. Simmons on a 5-game hitting streak.
Pretty good stat on Simmons this year. Only 46 strikeouts and 566 plate appearances this year. That's second best in the big leagues to Daniel Murphy. Strikes out 1 out of every 12 times. Murphy 1 out of every 14.4 times. So you talk about a guy putting the ball in play on a consistent basis and fighting you with 2 strikes. You're looking at him. That's,
yeah.
No matter what you think about his offensive numbers, that's impressive.
The numbers are lower for a couple of guys with these 2 ball clubs, but Yunel Escobar and Nick Markakis are in the top 10. They only strike out once every 8.5 at bats or so. But this guy makes contact. There's Nick, 0 for 1 tonight. Yunel, a couple of days off. 3-1 pitch. Roark runs it back to the outside edge. Simmons thought he had walked for the 40th time. He's going to jam him up the middle. Desmond, long way to go. And picked by Clint Robinson on the back end. A well done 6 and 3 for the first out.
That's shortstop on shortstop crime right there. Simmons has robbed Ian Desmond his share of hits, and now Ian Desmond returns a favor. Watch how far Desmond goes for this ball. And we're talking about the fast infield. That ball not hit well. Almost got up the middle. But Ian Desmond showing some great range to spin move and the throw right on the money all in one motion. Nice play by Ian Desmond all the way around. Even Simmons, maybe a tiny piece of him, will appreciate that play. Not too much, though.
Here's Michael Bourne. He and Nick Swisher were in Cleveland together to start this season. Bourne over there, 246 in 25 games. And with the Braves, 212 in 40 games. Well hit, right field. Jason Worth's got to be quick. Good base runner. He'll round the bag and go back. And the Braves have their second hit of the game with the pitcher coming up this time.
Now, a point I want to make before the broadcast is over, and all this stuff with Bryce Harper and Jonathan Papelbon, everybody's opinion throughout the country. I think these people that don't know Bryce Harper like we do, we get to see him play every day. We've gotten to see him play every day for a long time now. If you watch him for a week on how he plays the game, you watch how he interacts with his teammates, you watch how he interacts with fans before the game, the media.
Whistler lays down a perfect bunt.
And how he appreciates the game of baseball and approaches it on a daily basis and plays as hard as anybody I've seen. Yeah, does he not bust it every single time down to first base? Probably, but who does in baseball? Show me one guy that does every single time all year. And when you get to this point of the year, I guess the point I want to make without getting too long-winded here is that there's people that don't know Bryce Harper that have a very strong opinion of him, and it's frustrating, this whole thing, for me to see these wrong opinions of a guy that I've got to know over the last 4 years and does everything right and plays the game the right way and approaches it the right way. And it's just kind of sad to see him go through this when he really didn't have anything to do with anything.
Well said. Nick Markakis takes a strike from Roark. Pulled the ball to Trey Turner first time up. He's driven in 51 runs. There's Tanner's changeup. 82 stays down, 1-1. Pulls another one to Turner. He goes backhand this time. And Tanner Roark continues to pitch well here in Atlanta, where he had quite a night a little over a year ago.
seats. Purchase or renew your 2016 Nats Plus membership by October 5th, and you get a chance to swing for your seats. You hit a home run, you get free seats for next season. Visit nationals.com/swing for more information. I thought Clint Robinson might do it again.
Yeah, you got some karma going with that promo and him, right?
Yeah. First time we read it, in the middle of the read, he went deep.
He might have to go oppo because Whistler has been keeping the ball away from him. And that's why Michael Bourne's playing about 15 feet over toward the left center gap. 2-0. Has to come to him now, and Clint takes a nice rip. Turner Field in Atlanta. Home of the 1996 Summer Olympics. It opened for baseball the year later. And next year will be the last year for baseball here.
They had the whole Olympics in this ballpark?
Whole thing.
Really?
No. Opening ceremony,
Even
track and field.
The cycling where they're at the end.
They had a hard time getting up some of those aisles up there.
Where was the high jump at?
Stone Mountain. Anybody who could get up the mountain got a gold medal.
Where'd they swim? On the warning
Lake
track?
Lanier? I don't know.
They flood the warning track? Boxing? What was that? They ran laps? Were they
might have had that over at Georgia Tech. 2-2 pitch. Robinson under that one to center. Michael Bourne, no problem. 1 out. For the Achiever and you, PNC Bank with our minor league report. Notable Nats from Harrisburg to D.C. Joe Ross, who's handled himself really well this year. Sammy Solis, a little bit up and down at the big league level, but a live arm. Wilmer Defoe, we've seen his speed, and we know he's got some pop as well. And then Pedro Severino. One game, he got his first major league hit. And the Nats are really high on him as a receiver who's up and coming. There's Wilmer next to Lobaton.
Wilmer liked his rookie costume a little too much last night. He had a good time with it. Let's just put it that way. Everyone's on Twitter saying, show me FP. Nope. Sorry. Every team has that guy that's just digging his rookie outfit a little bit too much. Bryce might have been that guy when they were swimmers.
Did he go? Ian Desmond did. And he's done for the second out, fourth inning. He got rung up by Mark Wegner. Second strikeout for Matt Whistler with Matt Dendecker coming in.
Did he go from the side just to make ooh? Close is a nice way of putting it.
Dendecker really got jammed by Whistler first time up. Ian Desmond was on second base. Leading off the second, a shot off the center field wall. Dendecker popped up. Ramos lined out to right. Roark struck out. And he gets inside on Matt again. This time to the left side. Oliveira. Nats go 1-2-3. Pitchers doing their jobs tonight.
baseball? No. MLB.tv serves up real-time highlights and pitch tracking info on your out-of-market fantasy players live or on demand on over 400 devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Get MLB.tv today. That's the Olympic Ferris wheel. They had the Ferris wheel event, I think.
That was a keen competition.
Yep. I think the USA won that.
Number 2 hitter Daniel Castro. And Tanner Roark really powers one under his bat. Great pitch down and in.
Got good sinker going tonight. Got the good run back sinker.
And those are his starts against the Braves. Some other appearances, 5 of them as a reliever.
But see the velocity? It's 91 tonight. When he's 94, 95, he kind of throws the ball through the sink, almost when you putt a ball through the break, same philosophy. Tonight he's in the low 90s, and he's got more movement on his pitches, and that's what he did for the majority of last year. I think, you know, he didn't get into a routine this year. He was a long guy, a setup guy, a closer, a starter. And at times he'd come out of that bullpen throwing 95, and it was too hard, if that makes any sense. Tonight he's got so much movement on the 91, 92.
95 and straight. Doesn't bother too many hitters.
Because they see it every night now. It's actually good hitting speed, where 90 used to be good hitting speed. Now 95 is, because everybody throws 100.
Nissan will track the battle here. Pitch number 6. 2-2 count. Got inside on him. Cut off left side by Anthony Rendon. Nice spin move to make that throw. Let's check in with Dan.
Hey, Bob, just playing off what FP was just saying, I talked to Tanner recently, and he told me that he's a big routine guy. He's a firm believer in the hard work pays off mentality, and he uses the 4 days leading up to a start to really get a lot of work in. And when he was in the relief role, he didn't really have that routine, and he admits that his mind was kind of clouded. Now that he's back in the rotation, he says he's been able to get back to his routine. He feels like his stuff has come around, even though the results haven't shown it recently, but they are showing it tonight.
Well, last year speaks for itself.
Speaking of routine, guys, you should have saw Max Scherzer today. You think that, you know, it's the end of the season, he's coming off a good start, and he's just going to kick it in the clubhouse? He got after it today, was soaking wet after his routine.
It's coming down. Trey Turner has it. And stop the presses. Freddie Freeman is 0 for 2 against the Nats tonight. Looks like light rain falling here. Bottom of the 4th inning with A.J. Pierzynski coming up.
There's Max. He kills himself the day after his start, and he did the same today like it was mid-June. And what a day he had yesterday. I thought he was going to do it. Some of the best stuff we've seen him have this year.
Kind of weird he's standing next to Drew Storen. Guy from Drew Storen's hometown, former high school teammate Tucker Barnard. The guy who broke up the no-hitter yesterday. Craig Stammen with the ball club on your left. Great to see Craig with the uniform on, and he will improve the bullpen no matter what happens between now and April. And that is well out of here by A.J. Pierzynski. He got a pitch he could turn on, and he hit his 8th home run of the year. And career now, he's 5 out of 6 against Tanner Roark. 1-0 Braves.
Well, let's see the pitch. Like a big slow curveball, almost like A.J. Pierzynski knew it was coming. Look at him stay back. Little hesitation between the stride and the hands going forward, but had enough barrel, hooked it out of here about 5-6 rows deep in right field to put the Braves ahead.
Tanner Roark gives up his 16th homer of the year. Here's Swisher. Hit it into a 3-6-1 double play in the second after Pierzynski had singled. He'll drive one the other way, and that ball's well hit. Dendecker going back. He'll grab it a step or two onto the track. Top of the 5th coming up. Ramos, Roark, and Rendon. The Nats down by a run.
Are donating $250 to the Children's National Health System for every home run a Nats player hits this year. So keep them coming. It's for a wonderful cause. Lexus, the pursuit of perfection.
Wilson Ramos. Could another catcher homer? 81 on the heartbreaking ball, low and away. Wilson hit the ball well first time up, opposite field. Right to Nick Markakis. Mercedes-Benz will track it. Kind of an odd season for Wilson. Career high in RBIs, maybe in homers by the time he's done. But he's hitting 35 points below his career average, which coming into the season was 269. So that's dropped him 11 points this year. No go, says Mark Wegner on the appeal to first. Counts even 2-2. Well, let's see where this one goes. Everything down and away. Counts full. '23-year-old rookie Matt Whistler, 18th big league start, 6-8. Came in with a 5.40 ERA, but pitching pretty well tonight. Hasn't given up a hit since the second. He got a hanging breaking ball, hit it hard. Markakis again for the first out.
Pretty good at bat, good swing, got a pitch.
Inside the numbers with Jeep. So the Nats by season, FP talked about this a few days ago. And if you go back to 11, they made it to 80 wins. So those are the last 4 years, but 5 years in a row with at least 80 in the W column. And back in 2011, they had one rainout and went 80 and 81.
And that's the first time in franchise history that a team has won 80 games 5 years in a row. Expos did it they won 80 games 4 times in a row, I think from 87 on, those 4 years. So that's a record.
Roark late for a fastball. Freddie Freeman over by the tarp, and he'll grab it just as he makes contact with the cylinder. 2 outs.
Well, home ballpark, he's made this play a million times here. Knows exactly where he is, plenty of room. Caught it right in front of Dale Murphy. And Hank Aaron, for that matter. They're both in attendance tonight, right there by the tarp.
Anthony Rendon 1 for 2.
There they are. There's Hammer and Hank on the left and Dale Murphy on the right, folks.
Looking good.
Yep.
Actually attended a banquet about 2 years ago during the offseason at which Dale Murphy spoke, and what a baseball ambassador and great gentleman he is.
Yeah. He is top notch in every way.
He was as good as it was in the National League for a number of years. He ended up his career with more than 1,900 hits, 370 homers, something like that. But they haven't deemed him Hall of Fame worthy yet.
He never played in the playoffs, right?
Yeah, those are some really bad Atlanta teams. I mean, there were nights just north of here at Fulton County Stadium where maybe watching him bat was the highlight of your evening.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
But they were on WTBS, and it was a super station, and I watched every Brave game growing up, even though they were bad. It was the only station I had with baseball on it.
Yeah.
I mean, how the game has changed from that standpoint. Them or the Cubs on WGN, that's all I watched as a kid.
Yeah. I will never forget when the Braves started getting good. I happened to be in town one night doing a ball game for one of the networks, driving back to the hotel, and Skip Carey came out on the radio and said, "Braves win again. Don't know how to act." In his deadpan style. They were getting good. They were starting that run of division titles.
Right.
And a lot of people in Atlanta, it took them a while to figure out what was going on. Suddenly, they were the best team in baseball for a number of years.
I get home from school, turn on TV on the West Coast, and there were the Braves every day.
3-2 to Rendon. He drives one to right center. Bourne will go to the gap and grab it. These are really big gaps. 390 to right center here. Nats go in order again.
Got the sinker sinking, and he's made one mistake here. It was to A.J. Pierzynski, but other than that, he's been lights out. Ground balls all over the place, good tempo in the strike zone. 46 pitches, 30 of those for strike, so just hoping his team gets him some runs.
Strike one, bottom of the fifth underway to Hector Olivera. Popped up to Turner, first time.
On a scale of 1 to 10, and 10 being Julio Franco's twin, what do you got?
Yeah, close.
On Hector Olivera right here. I mean, if he had the bat over his head a little more.
Yeah.
Higher hands.
Yeah, Julio really used to wrap the bat.
Big leg kick.
And I tell you, that guy had a quick bat. He was with the Texas Rangers for a while when I was there. I never saw anybody hit a ball down the right field line, opposite field, as hard as he did.
Yeah.
He'd pepper the corner with doubles, and you didn't think he was going to get around, and he did.
Hey, wrap that bat around his head. I'll give it an 8 on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being an identical twin.
Okay, good call.
Even the follow-through right there. Maybe not the stance or the approach, but the follow-through. Very similar. Body types, face.
2-2 pitch. Up and in and right on that guard. You know, I happened to look before he came up. He's got that guard that you talked about. He'd only been hit by one pitch this year until that one. And that got him right up in there somewhere.
Probably a pre-existing injury, and maybe that one pitch you're talking about, that one hit by pitch, did some damage, because I think that got his guard too. So he's got something going on with his elbow, and that's why he had the guard.
Yeah.
Even when you have that thing on, it still hurts. Let's see it again. Yeah, right on the guard. But whatever's bugging him has been irritated, no doubt. And Tanner Roark, thinking that it might have hit the knob of the bat, runs over and fields it. And you don't know, maybe that was just a couple days ago, Carp. You never know.
Yeah, not sure when.
Is he coming out?
Trainer Jeff Porter took a look at him. Freddie Gonzalez out there. Appears to be heading for the dugout.
Well, very rarely do you see a guy get hit on the pad and come out of a game. This is strange. Whatever was done before must be really, really bad.
So he's done.
The first time I've ever seen that.
Jace Peterson will run for him. And the Braves have their leadoff man on for the second time in 5 innings. Jace Peterson was not in the lineup tonight. Left-handed batter, but he was 0 for 10 career against Tanner Roark. He's in the game now, and that's a fastball low.
There was a day when the fracture had to be visible from the bench for you to come out of a game.
Peterson, 12 stolen bases on the year, but he's been caught 10 times. Simmons robbed of a hit by his counterpart, Ian Desmond, up the middle last time.
Did you ever see owners on TV more than WTBS with Jane Fonda and Ted Turner? I mean, they were on after every pitch, they'd cut to Jane Fonda sitting right down to the first base dugout.
Only one I think that came even close was Jeffrey Loria at old Marlins football stadium there. He used to sit right behind home plate.
But on TV, though.
Yeah.
I mean, they were on TV more than the players. It would be like a pitch, them. A double, them. A homer, them.
Some director knew who was paying his salary.
Show him again. Whatever camera, say it, Carp.
That's funny. Yeah. The outfield wall from that ballpark still stands in the parking lot north of us here.
Had a dude hanging out, got his picker. I love it.
I think the Braves came here in '66, if I'm not mistaken, from Milwaukee and County Stadium until '97. So the life of this ballpark will be pretty brief, compared to others, just around 20 years. In fact, I was thinking about the gap when I saw that drive by Rendon. The outfield distances here are almost identical to what RFK was for baseball. 2-2, nobody out, runner aboard, and another throw over. And a chopper to Desmond. Simmons runs well, and the Nats just unable to turn it. Jace Peterson got all over Trey Turner there. 1 out.
I think Randy Norris sprinted down the phone for the 1800th time this year. He's on the horn of the clubhouse. What do you got? Matt Williams with his hand up. We'll see if they challenge. There's going to be headphones involved. One of my favorite moments of this year as we watch a replay again is Yunel Escobar at second base signaling for the headphones. He looked like he was safe. It's the first time I've seen that in Major League Baseball. Usually you just point a finger to the dugout. Yeah, he's safe. But he actually did the headphone signs on the side of his helmet.
Michael Bourne takes ball 1. "32 years of age now, originally in the big leagues with the Phillies in 06. Big curveball, straight down, off the table. Nissan will try to track it. Great changeup.
I mean, this looks just like a heater, doesn't it? 82 miles an hour. Good arm speed, great release point. Same release point as his fastball. Good pitch. You know what today is? National Coffee Day. Right?
This is one of your happiest days of the year, huh?
Yeah. Or International Coffee Day, which would make it National Coffee Day if you want to be specific. But yeah, I've been to Starbucks twice. I did my part.
Runner started, then stopped.
I guess my point is, when you're playing in front of a crowd like this, you need a lot of coffee as a player.
Create your own atmosphere?
You do. It's got to be 75 and sunny and 50,000 people where you're playing tonight. And how do you do that? Red Bull and coffee.
Ball 3. Now Mercedes the entire at bat. Runner on the move, swing and a miss. Ramos throw on target, and a nifty pickup and tag by Ian Desmond. Nats with their second double play of the night. This a strike 'em out, throw 'em out, and that doesn't get the inning down to the pitcher's spot, so the Braves don't turn over the lineup. Harper and Worth and what they're doing this month. Trey Turner has all 6 of his big league hits. Bryce Harper dominating. And Turner, he does turn on one. High in the air. See you later. First big league home run, Trey Turner. And what a bomb it was. Dugout waiting for him. Wow.
You can hear the dugout. Wow. I don't think a lot of guys in there knew that Trey Turner had that kind of pop. Ryan Zimmerman presenting Trey with his first major league home run. That's great. Congratulations, Trey Turner. You hit it a ton.
He hit 3 at Syracuse before he got called up. 5 at AA San Antonio when he was still with the San Diego organization. Now strike 1 to Bryce Harper, and that's up and away. Can't wipe the smile off his face, can he?
Well, you should have saw the whole dugout. There was about 10 guys waving their hats to try to get the ball into the dugout. I think it kicked back, or they threw it back on the field, one or the other. But, I mean, a full panic in the third base dugout trying to get Trey Turner's first home run ball. And good for him.
2 for 3 night for Trey.
My money was on an inside the Parker for his first one, but that was an outside the Parker.
Curveball strikes out Bryce Harper. 3rd K of the night for Matt Whistler.
Check it out again. Trey Turner, first career big league home run. Fastball running in. Had the sound, had the distance. On a 92-mile-an-hour fastball. You see it right there. 75th pitch of the game goes out. Nick Swisher throwing it into the third base dugout.
Well done, Nick.
And there it is. Didn't have to negotiate. You have the ball. You have the homer. Way to go.
And Ian Desmond, one of the key guys there to greet him. There's Jason Worth.
He must have heard I said he needed to get stronger in the offseason yesterday. I'll show that guy. What does he know?
Chase Peterson stayed in the ball game after pinch running to play second. That moved Daniel Castro over to third. 0-1 to Worth. I tell you, he has saved his best breaking balls. Whistler has for Jason Worth tonight. 173rd homer by the Nats, by the way, 3rd most in the National League. They've scored the 2nd most runs behind Colorado, and Jason Worth just waving at that one. 2 outs.
Well, I know 120 that he'll achieve as a major leaguer, and that's 20 stolen bases. The other one, I don't know. We'll see. ...
Robinson, bouncer right side, Jace Peterson. So solo homers the extent of the offense tonight. A.J. Pierzynski back in the 4th for the Braves. Leading off the 6th, Trey Turner. First one in the big leagues, and he gets the baseball moments later. Bottom of the 6th inning, new ball game. It's 1-1. Matt Whistler leads off against Tanner Roark. Good run on that 92. Good run on that 91. And some sink on the end of it. Working that outside edge, beautiful.
Good slide on that 83.
Contact on the 92. Here comes Rendon. Low throw, and Clint Robinson picks it out. Anthony in a full sprint, and he runs all the way over and gives some knucks to his first baseman there.
Yeah, let the momentum take you where the throw goes, I always say. A little trouble getting it out right there. That's why the throw is in the dirt. Good pick by Clint, I should say, correctly. But you see how he had trouble getting it out, threw it off the wrong foot. Not a problem. First baseman picked him up. That's why he ran all the way across.
I like that. Top of the order now, Nick Markakis and Daniel Castro, the next two. Couple of ground balls by Markakis. Both to Trey Turner.
Braves have won their last 19 home games decided by 1 run dating back to May 1st. That's the longest streak of its kind in Major League history. How about that for random stat of the night?
For a team that's 32 games under 500?
Yeah, that's never been done before.
Wow.
In the history of baseball. 19 home games decided by 1 run. They've won.
Does Craig Kimbrell come back for those?
I don't know.
That's really interesting. 4-pitch walk to Markakis. So that means the Nats better score here soon and get a couple.
Well, they could break the streak, is my point.
Yeah.
If they win 2-1.
1 on, 1 out. Daniel Castro, ground ball to Turner, 1 to Rendon. Right off the mask of Wilson Ramos.
I'll give him a second here, dust off the plate. Phone ringing in Wilson's head.
Fastball rides high.
Yeah, maybe he went out there to throw that 2-seamer under his hands like he did last time. He got the 5-3 ground out, but strike 2 was right underneath his hands.
And this one popped up by a reaching hitter. Foul ground right side. Clint Robinson, 2 down.
Beer Festival, Nats Park, Saturday, November 7th. Got fall beers. You can play lawn charts, food trucks, DJs, and more. Admission is $40 with a choice of 2 sessions. It includes unlimited tastings from dozens of craft breweries. Must be 21 and over to attend this event. Some restrictions apply. Get your tickets now at national.com/beer.
Just me. I'm staying away from a Jarts game at a beer festival.
Yeah. I don't know if they're having that. It says lawn games, and that's just what comes to mind.
Okay,
you got the
so you
slip and
Jarts
slide for a lawn game. You got lawn jarts. You got croquet.
All right.
What else?
I feel better.
Javelin toss. Bow and arrows.
Swinging a foul tip. You lost me at bow.
There's a 3 beer limit for the bow and arrow stand.
Freddie Freeman, a strikeout and a pop-up to the right side. Markakis at first, 2 outs. Tanner Roark doing a great job on Freddie Freeman. 0 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts. This one into the 7th. 1-1.
Mercedes-Benz of Alexandria tied at 1 as we go to the top of the 7th. 2 solo home runs, the story of this ball game. Trey Turner, first career Tater, in the 6th.
Top of the 7th, Ian Desmond 1 for 2 with a double. Maybe a foot or 2 from leaving the yard. Dead center field, leading off the 2nd. Left-hander Matt Grace. Nationals box score. Only 4 hits in there. Big fly. Trey Turner has half of the hits. Singled after Rendon in the first. And then Desmond, the mentioned double in the second. Nats didn't have a hit until Trey went deep, and I mean deep, last inning. Ian Desmond will take a base on balls. He's on for the 2nd time. Now Peter Moylan for the Braves. Whistler is approaching the 90 pitch mark here.
Well, you'd think it'd be a great time for Ian Desmond to steal early in the count and give Matt Dendecker a chance to move him over. We'll see if Dendecker's bunting early in the count, or if Matt Williams lets him swing away. Lots of options here for the Nationals.
Whistler has severely jammed Dendecker twice for short infield pop-ups tonight. No sign of squaring around. Fastball up and away. By the way, while we have a second, I want to thank the Nats fans who came out to the ballpark this year. The Nationals had their second highest Nationals Park attendance ever at 2,619,843, and that was only about 24,000 short of the record set back in 13.
Is that Trey Turner?
The Nats, could be, Nats all-time record. Almost 2.7 million at RFK back in 05. So thanks, fans. You gave us a great year at the ballpark at the Turnstiles. The Nats an average attendance 5th out of 15 teams in the National League.
I thought yesterday's crowd was just on point the whole game. Into it. Wasn't expecting that big a crowd for a makeup game against the Reds, and they almost retreated to a no-hitter.
Yeah.
They were through 7 1/3. That's why you just never know in this ball game. You come to the park, you never know what you're going to see.
Dendecker to the right side. To his left. Well played by Peterson. Simmons put everything he could on that relay, and Dendecker beat it out.
Well, we said at the outset that Simmons is involved in 123 double plays this year. Speculated that it might be the infield, but watch how quick the Braves shortstop turns this and gets rid of it with tons on it. I mean, that is a bolt to first base, and it just touches his glove, and he throws about a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, and Matt Dendecker can fly. He's always running hard down the first baseline. But that was an impressive turn by the Braves shortstop to make it that close.
One out, Ramos the hitter. Pitcher spot next.
Watch how quick he gets rid of this. I mean, just in and out of his glove. The game moves so fast at this level, but here's where the double play is almost made. Look at the transfer with something on it. Fernando Vina for the Cardinals and the Brewers from second base was as quick as I've ever seen. But Simmons right there, that's as quick a glove to hand to getting the ball away with something on it as you'll see in the major leagues.
Tyler Moore on deck for Tanner Roark, who's thrown 79 pitches, 48 strikes. 1 run on just 3 hits. Ramos pulls it left side. Tyler Moore won't be batting here in the 7th inning. Double play gets us to the stretch. Braves their 177th of the year.
what he wants to do to the Brewers hitters based on what he's seen for 3 days. What a performance here in Milwaukee by Max Scherzer.
So Max Scherzer strikes out the side here in the 6th inning.
Closer mode, I got this. Everybody relax. Season high 14 strikeouts.
Max Scherzer set a club record for most strikeouts in a single game with 15.
That's got to be the game of his life. 16 strikeouts, complete game.
Dominating weekend in Milwaukee. And throughout the next several ball games, we will be giving you numerous moments of greatness by the Nats this year. We arrive at the Hyundai 7th inning stretch. Tanner Roark, because they didn't hit for him, still in the ball game to face Pierzynski, Swisher, and Jace Peterson.
There wasn't a ball hit hard in that game, Milwaukee. Not one. One of the most dominating performances I've ever seen, even more so than his no-hitter the next start against the Pittsburgh Pirates.
I mean, you look at his numbers. The ERA, opponent's batting average, strikeouts, walks. And you would think out of 25 decisions, Max Scherzer would have 18 or 19, even 20 wins. One of the great mysteries of this year, probably because of the home run ball that jumps up in the second half of the season. He's 13-12. Hard to believe.
What did Don Sutton say to us before the game today? That there's 33 starts as a pitcher, 11 when you have your great stuff, and you should win 8 of those. 11 when you have to battle. And Sandy Koufax told him this.
Yeah.
11 when you have to battle, and you win what? 4 or 5 of those?
4 or 5 of those.
So that's 12, 13 wins. And then 11 when you hoping you get lucky that your offense picks you up and you don't have the great stuff. And you win 3 or 4 of those, you win 17, 18 games. Max Scherzer had some bad luck this year. He should have won more than 13 games.
This is the hitter of the night for Tanner Roark, because A.J. Pierzynski in the Braves box has 2 of their 3 hits. 2nd inning leadoff single, 4th inning 2-out homer. Their only other hit, a Michael Bourne slap through the right side of the infield in the 3rd.
Their 95th home run of the year. It's the lowest in the majors.
As well as their 558 runs. That ball is hit well out to right center. And A.J. Pierzynski has done it to Tanner Roark again. 3 for 3 tonight. 6 for 7 career. Nissan will track the pitch.
Well, veteran hitters obviously have an idea, but you feel like, based on the numbers alone and what you've seen here tonight from A.J. Pierzynski, he's got something on Tanner Roark. Whether he's tipping his pitches, whether he just got a feel for how he's going to work them. I mean, he hit the curveball last time like he knew it was coming. Maybe he's thinking he ain't going to go to that pitch again. I'm going to sit dead red. But he hit that fastball like he knew it was coming for his 2nd home run tonight.
That was a tape measure shot out to right center. That ball went out of here about 30 feet to the left of the 390 mark. Rafael Martin getting ready for the Nats.
If you remember, on his first hit of the night, he looked into the dugout as he was running to first base as if to say, I told you so. So who knows?
6th career game in Pierzynski's career with 2 home runs or more. Roark arriving at the 90 pitch mark.
Did you hear Nick Swisher bracing for contact right there?
Yeah, I thought he was going to get hit. He's got a big right upper arm guard on himself. Ground ball to Trey Turner. Ball came up on him at the end there. 1 out. Underway at 7:10 tonight, bottom of the 7th. We arrive at the 9 o'clock hour. First of 3 here at Turner Field, Atlanta. BC, FP, DK. And a 2-1 Braves lead now on 2 home runs by A.J. Pierzynski. And one by Trey Turner has the Nats on the board.
Well, you knew that he hit his first major league home run at Turner Field, right? And now he's got to hit another one and match Brzezinski. So when's he coming up?
He is due up third in the 8th. Jace Peterson. Breaking ball, and against Tanner Roark will give you the matchup number at the end of the at-bat. He is hitting 240 on the year. I just saw something on the screen, Trey Turner's number. How does a young guy get a single-digit number? Is there something to that?
It's just available.
I mean, that's an old number.
It's
You
not
wore
spring training, so you get whatever number is available, and sometimes you get to pick one.
There's a 6 over there.
There's number 6 from day one.
We're told by the truck that does look better than 94 on your jersey.
Well, that's in spring training. You'll never see a 94 during the real deal.
How to play left side. Got him. Diving curveball there at 77. Tanner Roark, 4th K of the night. And the Washington area Toyota dealers again this year. We thank them for helping children and their families. $37 to the Children's Inn at the National Institutes of Health for every strikeout by a Nationals pitcher. There's Andrelton Simmons 0 for 2. Edwin Jackson.
I know that guy.
Tanner Roark really getting stretched out here. Not by last year's standards, but by this year. He's gone 7 one other time, and that was the night the Nats scored 16 at Tampa Bay. 1 run on 6 hits that night.
It's not the number, it's the effort level. I think everybody gets so caught up in the number of pitches nowadays. And Tanner Roark's been on cruise control all night. He's made 2 mistakes to AJ Brzezinski, and that's it. He hasn't had the wiggle out of any jams. He's had pinpoint command with all of his pitches, so effort level minimal, so pitch count overrated. Now, if a guy's at 100 pitches after 5 and he's getting through bases loaded jams and he's got runners all over the joint, well, then that's 100 pitches. But with what he's doing here, been playing catch for 7 innings. An aggressive game of catch.
Big curveball, base hit. Simmons able to react. And the Braves, 2 of their 5 hits in this inning. Michael Bourne is next, and Matt Williams is going to make a change. So Tanner gets through 6 2/3. AJ Brzezinski got him twice for home runs. Well done. Now the Nats need to come from behind, but hold the Braves first. Tanner Roark within 1 out of getting through 7 tonight. Pitched an outstanding ball game. Got a double play ball, a couple of home runs. Only 5 hits all night, hit a batter. And now it's Matt Grace against Michael Bourne.
You look at the season numbers on Grace. 25th appearance, 2-run record, 13 strikeouts to 8 walks, and a 357 average against the fastball slider change combo. Fastball average in 91, got good sink.
These two have faced each other one time. Michael Bourne hit a sac fly against Matt Grace this year. Andrelton Simmons, after the base hit, aboard with 2 outs. Michael Bourne got his lower leg or foot with that one, and the count's 1-2. Todd Cunningham, a switch hitting outfielder, on deck in the pitcher spot. Got him looking. So Tanner Roark gives up 2 runs in 6 2/3 and 104 pitches. Now the Nats go to the 8th with number 9 coming up. The Washington Nationals, and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the expressed written consent of the Washington Nationals. Top of the 8th, Reed Johnson will lead off for the Nats. He pinch hitting for Matt Grace. Had a couple of plate appearances over the weekend upon his return from a couple of injuries this year. And Matt Whistler's still out there. They didn't make it down to his spot in the batting order. Todd Cunningham was going to hit for him, and now he makes a straight up switch in left field, replacing Nick Swisher. By the way, first big league start Whistler went 8 against the Mets in a 2-1 win. His longest outing of his career. Coming off 7 innings at the Mets in a 6-2 win 7 days ago.
Some good young pitchers lately, especially in this division. Eichhoff was impressive for the Phillies. Nola was impressive with his sinker, curveball combination, and Whistler here tonight has pitched a nice game. New York has a few good young pitchers.
Left-hander Matt Marksberry joining Edwin Jackson in the Atlanta bullpen.
Jose Fernandez is good.
Real good. And Reed Johnson hacks one up the middle. Great swing by Reed. First base hit since coming back, and his 5th hit of the year. And Dan, it's been a long way back for this veteran.
It has, Bob. We've talked about the injuries that he's had. A torn tendon in his left foot. That was supposed to end his season. He worked back from that sooner than he was supposed to, then broke a rib while on a rehab assignment. A long year for Reed. He's fought back from both of those injuries. I talked to him today after his sac fly yesterday scored a run. He said that RBI was pretty meaningful for him, given all that he's been through this year. Just a sac fly, an RBI in a long career for a veteran guy, still meaningful for Reed Johnson.
Yeah, good guy at the age of 38, still in the big leagues, and when healthy, really good. So was Whistler tonight. For next year, and you can swing for your seats. Hit a home run at Nationals Park, and your seats are free next year. Some rules and restrictions apply. Nationals.com/swing. 202-675-NATS. Wilmer Defoe will be pinch running for Reed Johnson. So the tying runs aboard. Edwin Jackson, 32 years of age now, just 20 days ago out of the Atlanta bullpen.
Yeah, fastball 94, slider 88. Occasional curveball, occasional change, but really a two-pitch guy now. Fastball and slider. Opponents hit .228 against Edwin Jackson this year. And Matt Whistler did a fine job for his ball club tonight. He was on point with all of his pitches.
Yeah, just 5 hits and 7+. 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, a homer, a double play ball. Anthony Rendon 0 for 3 career against Edwin Jackson. So 2 right-handers here. Then they had Marksberry up, the lefty throwing. Bryce Harper in the hole. Top of the 8th here. Rendon high in the air, out of play, right side. 15,272 announced here tonight. Only the Marlins and the Phillies lower attendance than Atlanta this year. Two-one, that's well inside.
It just goes to show you that you can market your ball club however you want, but wins bring people to the yard. Those last three teams you talked about having bad years.
Right.
You win, people come watch you play. It's pretty simple. Always has been that way.
Rendon. Center field, though, didn't have enough carry on it to be dangerous, and Bourne over to grab it.
Check out little Trey Turner. His first major league home run. And so this time there's a runner on, and he could give his team the lead. AJ Pierzynski with 2 homers tonight. Trey Turner with 1. Can he do it again? Wouldn't that be something? Average up to 292 with a 2 for 3.
7 big league hits and 24 at bats.
.99 on the hit speed.
Some kind of towering drive to left. Edwin Jackson's breaking ball outside, 2-0.
No.
I wasn't going to ask, but I like the answer. Make him throw a couple, huh?
Yeah. Get to 3-2, you can start Defoe. I mean, obviously you're going to be hacking 3-1 if this is a strike, but you can go 3-1 hit and run too if you want. A lot of things you can do right here as a manager down by 1. Start the runner right here. You can wait for another strike. You don't really need to start the runner because Trey Turner's not a double play. You do it just to kind of get guys moving around the infield to create some holes for Turner.
Should get something with Harper next. Something he can work with. Braves have a lefty ready, but MVP type guy in the on deck circle.
You got strike thrower, contact guy, good runner at first. All things conducive to starting him.
Up and in, ball 4. That may take Edwin Jackson right out of this game. Defoe moves up to second base with 1 out. Bryce Harper 1-for-1 career against Jackson if he stays. Freddie Gonzalez not moving off the bench just yet.
Hasn't budged.
All right.
Well, hello. We're not playing the matchup game. Freddie trusting his veteran against Bryce Harper. We'll see how it works.
Yeah. Harper 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. Batting average at .335.
Needs 4 RBIs in the last 6 games to reach 100.
left side, and a 5-4-3 double play started by Castro. The Nats are gone in the 8th, and the Braves have held Bryce Harper hitless tonight.
Who came in last in Major League Baseball with just 94 home runs. Get 2 from A.J. Pierzynski's number 95 and 96 on the year. Last time they hit less than 100 was 1988 when they hit 96 home runs. 2-1 as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning.
Blake Trinan gets the call for the bottom of the 8th inning. Looks like the Braves will start off with Pedro Siriaco in the number 9 spot.
57th appearance for Blake Trinan. 62 strikeouts versus 29 walks. An opponent's hitting 254. Righties 189, lefties 333. Kept the ball in the ballpark. Just 3 home runs given up all year.
Pedro Siriaco as a pinch hitter this year. Pretty good. 11 for 42. 5 RBIs. Look out. Screamer into the seats.
Every time you did that as a Dodger, Adrian Beltre would be on the top step yelling, "Way to stay back. Attaboy, stay back." Whenever you're late on a pitch, it was hilarious.
That's going to hit the plate and bounce up. Here comes Desmond. Wow. Outstanding play. Ian never panicked, never rushed, even in making the throw that got the out on a fast runner.
Well, these are fun as an infielder, the high choppers, because you have a lot of momentum going to your target. It's kind of a do-or-die play, so you're really not supposed to make it. But Ian Desmond makes it look easier than most. Bang-bang play at first, but watch him get rid of it. We talked about Simmons' quick release. Ian Desmond just as quick on the high chopper.
Sammy Solis for Freddie Freeman, you would think, if this is not a 1-2-3 8th inning. .98 with a foul tip.
Challenge fastball.
Mercedes-Benz trying to keep up with that thing. Blake Trinan went from 0 to 98 very quickly. And then he took some off and had some downward away movement with that 89.
Yeah, once he has some success against lefties, sky's the limit for Blake Trinan. Whether it's as a reliever or maybe even still as a starter. Was that an above average glove pop right there? And
I think so.
I mean, that hurt my ears.
Swing and a miss on a nasty breaking ball. 2 outs. Nick Markakis 0 for 3 with a walk tonight.
Pretty good slider rider after the 98-mile-an-hour fastball down and in. That'll get a lot of lefties out. Nice execution. Close my ear. Oh. Close the other ear.
Low and away to Daniel Castro.
Do we have the mics in the bullpen catcher's gloves?
Loudest bullpen in baseball here in Atlanta.
I want to see another pitch.
Get your tickets ASAP. December 12th and 13th, Walter E. Washington Convention Center. It's Nationals Winterfest. Players will be there. A lot of us will be hanging out. Santa, come and join us. It'll be a great time. Right before Christmas, 202-675-NATS. Our Nationals.com. Ouch. / Nats Winterfest.
That's just some acoustics down there. That's what that is. Even the throw back is loud. Is this drink of water going to be loud?
I heard the gulp. Blake Trinan, some kind of breaking ball going. Ramos keeps it close and then throws out Daniel Castro. 1, 2, 3. Here come the Nats in the top of the ninth. Worth, Robinson, and Desmond down a run. Night Point Systems. They offer the technology you need when you need it. And good luck hitting Phil Niekro's knuckleball. Beautiful night in Atlanta, really. Cloudy night, 74 at game time. Johnny and Ray are in the studio. Yep, they won't be at the ballpark with us anymore this year. It's our Nats Extra postgame show presented by W.B. Mason when this one's over. Rodis Vizcaíno has 7 saves this year for the Braves. And in his big league career, he has 7 saves.
Well, his fastball's averaging 98 miles an hour, so he's got a big heater. Curveball 32%, 86 miles an hour, 2-pitch guy. Opponent's hitting 223, lefty's just 192.
So we'll check some matchups here. Jason Worth, 1-for-1 career against him. Clint Robinson, 0-for-1. Ian Desmond, 0-for-1. Here's another one of those one-run games at home for the Braves.
Yeah, they've won 19 one-run games at home in a row if you missed it. Going for 20 right here with 3 outs. It's never happened before in the big leagues, ever.
And who would have thought for a team 32 games under 500? And that's more than half of their home wins. They only have 37. Worth gets on top of that one. 2 balls, 1 strike. And breaking ball drops in there. They've been throwing nothing but hooks to Jason Worth all night.
That just acted like a changeup more than anything at 84.
Yeah. He's going to hook one to left. Cunningham has to go over and pick it up on a hop. Worth was coming around hard. He'll go back to the first base bag. Tying run aboard, top of the 9th. So Worth 2-for-2 career against this right-hander. Now Clint Robinson with Ian Desmond the next 2. Joe Ross joins Felipe Rivero in case there's another inning.
I don't know which is which. You usually say one for if it's tied and one for if they have the lead. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a committee now, huh?
I don't know who the closer is now. And nobody asked Matt Williams before the game who the closer was.
Well, in the bottom of the 9th, Freddie Freeman leads off. So that gives you a pretty good idea of who would be the first one out.
And Nats didn't take batting practice today, so there's no real chance. So we'll see. First things first. Got to keep the game going.
Robinson 0-for-3 tonight. He goes to left, and this ball is down in front of Cunningham. Back-to-back singles. Ian Desmond next.
So the Braves doing what they should be doing, playing no doubles defense with the tie and run on first base. Allows Clint Robinson to get one in there. So Ricky Bobby checking in with his first hit of the night. Does Ian Desmond swing away right here, or does he bunt? We'll see.
There have been some times lately when Ian's tried to bunt and it hasn't gone that well. He's going to square. He's going to deaden one right in front of home plate, and this is going to be a double play. I don't know if Ian had to wait so he wouldn't run into the ball, but it took him a long time to get out of the box, and that's a 2-5-3 on a bunt.
Squares around, bat in good position, and he did have to let A.J. Pierzynski go in front of him. Pierzynski throws to third, Desmond takes off, and there's your double play.
Braves third of the night in unusual fashion. And the last hope for the Nats now, Matt Dendecker. Michael A. Taylor runs for Robinson at second base.
The Nats have bunted more in the month of September than I've seen them bunt in the last 3 years combined.
Dendecker 0 for 3 tonight against Vizcaíno. Career 1 for 1 with an RBI. Breaking ball drops in. Dendecker, did he go? No swing, says Marty Foster. That was close. Jordan Zimmerman tomorrow night. 7-2 career against the Braves. That's down to their final strike. Ball game, and the Braves in 2.5 hours win a low-scoring game, another one of their one-run wins at home. 2-1. Nats lose a base runner. They stranded 6 tonight, and Atlanta is 4-3 against the Nats this year in this ballpark.